Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Laugh and Learn Magic Tool Talk about crystal grids. I am joined by Tanys from Twillo Lifestyle Community. I am Tarot Stash. Thank you for being here. Links to both of our channels and additional resources are in the description below. So click away, have fun. This is part of the Laugh and Learn as well as the Magic Tool Talk playlists, which are also below. That way, you can have a lot of great resources to help you as you are learning and exploring. Tanis, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, thank you very much. I appreciate it. This topic came up where I think was it on Twillo Talk Live? We were talking about crystal grids.
I think it might have been. Yeah. Yeah, it came up there and then the viewers were like, "Yes, we want to show." So,
Sure, okay.
we are here.
Yes, we have two shows scheduled. One is Crystal Grids, and the other is Gem Water, which is scheduled for July. Like and subscribe to both of our channels so you don't miss those. And as always, please remember this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what I say or we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. Always, please like and subscribe because it is free. There's a lot of information out in the world about crystal grids. Go searching. Nancy Jean does crystal grids. Tanis does crystal grids. There's a lot more people out there who do crystal grids. This is not an end all. It is an introduction for you for things to consider when you're exploring and considering crystal grids. I did actually some of the first Laugh and Learns I did were with Jonathan Daly, where we talked about crystals. There's part one and part two. If you're on Gerald's channel, I did add those in the description for that. So I think that's very exciting.
Yeah. Jonathan and I talk crystals all the time.
Oh, of course, of
Yeah.
course. So,
Other
uh,
stuff too, but
well, of course.
he's
Uh,
awesome.
I do see a lot of people here, and I want to say hello, everyone. It's great to see you. Glad to have everybody here. And I have a whole bunch of questions
Mhm.
set up for us to help guide our conversation. If you're watching and you have a question, pop it in capitals so that I can follow, so that I can capture it. The first one being, what is a crystal grid?
Okay. Well, I think the best way to do that is to show you one because
Okay,
then we can talk our way through it.
perfect.
Um, so, I think we have one set in the background there,
Oh, wait a minute. Like that?
just like that.
Okay.
So you see we've got our focus stone here in the center. Oftentimes we use a point because the focus stone actually brings the energy into the grid.
Mm-hmm.
These crystals are the waystones, and they actually um, show the way and how we're going to create the energy, right? They help to magnify the energy of these, which are the outcome stones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as we look at a crystal grid, what we're doing is creating a bubble of energy. So by having them in the room with you, they're creating this energy field around it
Yes.
that is greater than the sum of its parts as
Mm,
well. That's the benefit of it. And as you have that in your field, right, it's high vibration and we're lower vibration, we're going to raise our vibration by
mhm.
having them in our field. And we key them into specific frequencies because specific frequencies create specific things in our lives. So the reason it's a magical tool, as Gerald was saying, was because we can use it for things like manifesting
Yes.
and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So you'll notice as well, this is on sacred geometry. And
Mhm.
so the sacred geometry brings its own energy as well
Yes.
to the grid to help amplify. So there's all different ways to layer the energy and have it come in to help us with our outcome of what we're trying to create.
Absolutely.
Mm,
I love this example. I of course was doing research, and I found a crystal grid is a deliberate arrangement of crystals in a specific, often geometric pattern designed to focus and amplify energies for a particular intention or purpose, acting as a tool for manifestation, healing, or spiritual growth.
yes, very
To
much so.
Yes, to create one, you first need define your intention, then select complementary crystals, cleanse them, and arrange them in a chosen pattern, often with a central focus stone. Which in this you can see that very large focus stone,
Hmm.
and surrounding it with desire stones before activating the crystal. Now,
Right.
you can watch this back on playback and all of that good stuff, but there's a lot of good information in that. So, but
Hmm.
okay, so that's what a crystal grid is. I'm going to put us back here. That's a
Hmm.
crystal grid,
Yes.
and I think you know we sort of touched on this, but how does a crystal grid work?
So a crystal grid, you take all of the energies of all of the crystals, you put them together. You take the the geometry, sacred geometry, and you put that with it. And each of these frequencies culminate in a desired frequency that we're trying to create. And so
Hmm.
that frequency that we're trying to create is what we want to hold within our body, within our home, because like attracts like,
Yes.
right? So if we're trying to, that's the whole concept with crystals. If we're trying to create more love in our life, right? If I want to create more passion, then I'm
Hmm.
going to work with a crystal like this, right? Rose quartz, and it's a flame for passion.
Hmm.
So the whole thing is to match the frequency of what you want to create in your life. And so a
Yes.
crystal grid just amplifies that. This
Hmm.
actually could be used as a very powerful focus stone in a crystal
Yes.
grid for love, right?
Hmm.
So, how they work is they all combine, and you actually create a crystal grid by when you're activating it, you're connecting all the crystals
Yes.
into a matrix, and that matrix creates this energy field that we work with.
Hmm.
And then, like attracts like, and you're attracting what you want. So, picking the crystals is really based on what you're trying to create.
Yes.
So that's why the first step is always set your intention. So what do, and of course intention is everything. We always say that, right?
Yes.
Your
Oh,
intention really is where you start with it.
I love this. So let's not overcomplicate it.
Hmm.
Crystals put together, things that can work well together, can amplify, they can support each other, they can elevate energetically. There's a whole lot of things that are available. And sometimes we need to turn the volume up on what it is that we're working on, what we're trying to manifest, what we're healing, what we need clarification about. A crystal grid is a great resource to do that.
It
So
is.
think of it. I also like to think of a crystal grid is it is that, and I've forgotten what it's called, but it's that big thing that points to the heavens and gets the energy connect. We It's like a radio receiver.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's like, okay, this is a crystal grid is like that, and it puts a lot of things out there. So I want to say before we move on, there's a lot of people who have come in, and this is wonderful. I do want to point out JJ from Tuta
Hey,
Speaks
JJ.
here, and stay tuned because there may be a show with JJ, Tanys, Gerald, and I don't know, somebody else in the chat, maybe sometime soon. I don't want to give anything away, but stay tuned. So
There's discussion happenings.
there's discussion happening. And okay, so I'm curious, a show of hands, how many of you in the chat watching have ever made a crystal grid. Kaylee said, I made one for grounding with agates I found in the Atlantic Ocean. I love
And
that.
there you're bringing in beautiful water energy with it, right? So it's
Hmm.
allowing that energy to flow. It's awesome.
Yes.
Hmm.
So crystal grids are a great beacon. They are that um, uh, okay. And I'm just getting caught up in the chat. Hold on. Haven't made one yet. Hershey has. Kaylee hasn't.
Kaylee has, yeah.
Kaylee has, yes. Shenanigans has asked a question. You mentioned cleansing the crystals first.
Yeah.
If you do,
You
okay,
set an
would you
intention for each.
for each crystal before placement on the grid? And two, are there better methods for cleansing than others? Yes, yes, and I'm going to keep that question starred because we will going to answer it.
Okay.
So staying up there. Okay, haven't created one yet. Rocks and crystals are my companions. Yes.
Me too.
Ocean Garnet hasn't, but interested. Do you power them by the sun or otherwise before placement?
Okay.
Starring that one because we will get to that.
Hmm.
So these are great questions. Thank you. Um, and so one of the things that's important is is yes, sort. Okay, so here, let's ask this: what do you need to set up a crystal grid? I bet you need
Crystals.
some crystals. Yes.
Crystals. You can have everything from like a very simple grid with like 4 crystals and a focus stone,
Yep.
or you can go as large as like a whole room
Oh
using
yeah.
crystals and anything from nature, right? You see, there's lots of them where you see they've got flowers and herbs mixed in, and they've got seashells and all of that stuff as well. So it's all got its own frequencies.
Yes.
So it's really about creating an intricate design of intricate or simple design of natural elements that all have
Mhm.
their own frequencies. And when you set the intention and they are of a similar frequency, then you're creating a huge energy bubble of that frequency.
Yes. So I would add to this, obviously you need crystals. You also
Mhm.
need an intention.
Yes,
It's helpful to have a place to put your energy grid.
yes.
And
I
I
I
go
like
ahead.
it on my altar.
Okay, yes, an
Hmm.
altar is a great place to do it.
Hmm.
Um, Maru said I used feng shui to put crystals all over my house. I consider it.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
You can actually stand in the middle of your house and energetically connect ones in the corners of your house
You got it.
with energy to create a boundary as well for protection. So much like what you have done.
Yeah. JJ said I've made some crystal grids even though I didn't know why. I love that
Yes.
because part of this is using your natural affinities and
Hmm.
allowing your natural affinities to be augmented by the use of crystals.
Yeah.
You can do some amazing stuff. You can purchase crystal grids that are extremely powerful. Great. If that's something that you can do, I think that's wonderful.
I encourage people to create their own rather than buying like a kit. The
Hmm.
reason I do that is because your intuition and setting it up yourself and choosing the crystals yourself
Yeah,
helps to key it to your own energy.
there is that. Yes,
I
yes,
mean, if someone's got crystals and you resonate with the grid and you hold the crystals and they all feel good, then yes, right? Um, but you want to make sure that the crystals that you get in your grid are the ones that resonate with you.
absolutely, absolutely. And My agate grid I put on my massage table in my treatment room to ground the room and my clients. I love that.
Yep.
Hershey says they are top to bottom in my life and home.
Me too. You're going to
Yeah,
see my desk in a minute.
yeah. And Pamela said I have crystals set in and around my altar. I'm always moving them around, rearranging them. I love that.
Hmm.
I love that. So you can go and watch the videos that Jonathan and I did. That was almost 3 years ago. But if you want to select crystals, there's great things that you can use. This the Crystal Bible. These are three that I have. There's the Book of Stones, which is a very nice book. A
Hmm.
lot of information. Purchase responsibly. Know your limits. We're here to share, not to sell. You got some? Yep.
This one here is great if you've got crystals and you're not sure what they are,
Ah, okay.
because it actually is color coded. You see on the ends here, you can see the colors up top.
Hmm.
It's
I like.
color coded. So, say I have like a purple crystal, I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to go to the purple crystal section and look for the picture because it's got beautiful pictures.
I love
So,
that.
and there's also prescription, the crystal prescription book. Do
Okay.
I have one? Yes, I do have one here. This one here is really great if you're doing it for healing work.
Hmm.
This has all of the different, well, a bunch of different.
Hmm. Yeah.
This,
There are also really great resources out there. There are crystal grid books. Jeffrey has a couple
yep,
of those that he's purchased that he enjoys. Um, do your research, follow your intuition, and that. So, do you want me? Do you want to share? Do you want me to share the website so you can show what you have because you have a resource?
sure.
Wait a minute. Helps if I do that. There we go.
Yeah. So if you're wondering what crystals, right? The next step is, of course, picking your crystals. So if you're wondering about crystals and you want to look a crystal up on twillowlifestyle.ca, if you go here to resources, we actually have a crystal directory here that's alphabetized. So let's just go to amethyst because it's easy, right? So they're all alphabetized with the pictures. So you can take a look at those. And it just gives you a little bit of an outline as to what they help with.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's
So
great.
that's, and then we'll be putting more stuff up on the membership site as
Mhm.
well. So that's free to join. If you guys want to go to the website, there is also the members site here to join. So there'll be stuff in there as well um, to help with crystal grids, to do all of that stuff. One of the things that is there is this. So this gives you an idea. This again is for healing, but it gives you an idea of what crystal
Mhm.
goes with which chakra and what the purpose is. So this could also be used for your crystal grids. If you look at that, you could say, okay, I want a grounding, right? So for the root chakra, it's about grounding. And then you might use these crystals, for instance,
Yeah.
right? So this one's focused on chakras. But if you look at the purpose, it can bring forward some of those crystal combinations as well.
I like that.
Okay.
So these are resources that are around, and Maru has put it into the chat, as
Awesome.
have
Thank
I.
you.
So this is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. Uh, um, and so I think so you can do a lot of resources. You could, if you're anything like me, and I hope you're not, you could be an underachiever and go, I, I'm just going to take this crystal and put it down and do all that stuff. That will work.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be an overachiever and you want to go, well, I want, 13 stones and I need half of them to be this and one like this, you can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I would encourage people to remember is do it. Do not overthink it. A
Yeah,
crystal grid works when it's actually set up.
mm-hmm.
So, all right. So,
Definitely.
how do you set up a crystal grid?
Okay, so this I'm going to invite you onto my desk. I'm going to just change my camera setting here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute. I'm
Yeah,
going to
it's
do
just
that.
same
Yep.
camera. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to do this. There we are. Hello.
Yay.
Here's my desk. As you can see, I'm Crystal Girl. So this would be we can look at this now. We'll look at the different shapes. So we can use different types of geometry as
Mm-hmm.
well for different types of grids. So this is, of course, your flower of life grid. You've got like things like this one, which is Metatron's cube, right?
Oh,
So
mm-hmm.
these are the ones that are kind of most common. The seed of life is also a common one, but you can go very simple with them. And sometimes it's more about the symbolism with it. So I created one when I was working on an abundance workshop that is, it takes a whole bunch of elements and brings them together. So this one here
Mm-hmm.
was created. So that's I'm also sharing this because you can go on and just print them on paper. It doesn't
Yes,
have to
absolutely.
be a fancy thing, right?
Correct.
So utilitarian, which is what we're going for here, right? So for this one, if I'm going to put, I'm actually going to put a prosperity one together. I think that's going to be a good one. So I'm going to do it on here because I also want to show that you can add another layer with essential oils.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
So do I have one of my abundance oils, or are we going to use something else? Oh, I do. Okay. So this is an abundance oil that was created in ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have my crystals here. I'm going to use jade, and I'm going to use citrine.
Okay.
Those are some of my faves for this. And I usually use 6 of each. I'm missing one here.
Have you
There it
ever
is.
embroidered one?
Have I ever embroidered one? No,
No, but I love that idea, JJ.
absolutely. You know the ones with the beads? Use the bracelet beads with the holes,
Mm-hmm.
and you could embroider with those, and that
Yes.
would create a crystal grid.
Yeah. So I want to pause for a second, and it,
Mhm.
it is important to remember as you are setting up a crystal grid, be aware of be aware of your intention.
Yes.
Write it down, clarify it, because if you can clearly define the purpose, that's going to help you guide your crystal choices and your placement of it. And then choosing a location is important. And I'm going
Mhm.
to say that because if you have an altar, do you have enough space for that? Is it possible for you to, I mean, because if your space is only this big, that's going to impact the number of crystals that you can use. And for me, part of it when I was working, I had no less than 3 crystal grids set up in every place that I worked.
Nice.
Some of them were you couldn't tell that what they were because they just looked like a nice arrangement of crystals.
Yes.
Others were hardcore. I set them up. I had them in the back of my cabinet so that they were secure and that no one could see them, and they would not be disturbed. So,
So
and
you could do a crystal grid as simple. 3 is a magic number.
mhm.
You do that in some sand with a little feather and a shell, and you've got a beautiful little altar that's only this big.
Yep, I love that.
Oh, and maybe add a tea light to that, but
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Seashell, tea light, sand, and it just looks like a little a
yeah,
little thing on your desk.
yeah. Julianne said planning and intentions are key.
Absolutely.
Marjorie has said that's my problem, running out of room on the altar. Yes, well, and here's the thing. I have no less than 5 altars in my first floor. So you know,
Yes,
and by the way, you can create a crystal grid so it can hang on a wall.
you can.
You can attach. Um, oh, Pamela has asked, do you have a favorite color?
I do. I have two:
Okay.
coral and
Hmm.
teal.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of acid green, and I am a big fan of bright orange because the two of those together make people cringe.
Yes. Oh,
So
I also like purple, but I would
yes,
say so. You just have to look at my website for the colors because I use them in my business.
yes. So um, okay, Kelly is here.
Hello,
So
Kelly.
yeah. Oh yeah, and Kaylee, yes, no one was the wiser. We all know Jonathan Daly, who makes wearable crystal grid necklaces.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yep,
There you go.
exactly.
Dippity doo. Thank you. So, all right. Okay. So you were going to show. I mean, and for me, I like I like a center crystal, and I like a crystal for each of the four cardinal points. So
Okay.
I'm a
You're a
minimum.
four
I,
guy.
I'm a well,
I'm a six girl.
yes. So, but okay. So,
So when I'm setting up a grid, I'm going to set my intentions first. So I've
mhm,
got my crystals, I have my grid, I have my center, focus stone, prosperity. So presumably I've already cleared all of these using either sage or the crystals. Some crystals you can run them underwater. If you are energy healer, you can just channel energy into them. You can also just have the intention of clearing and charging.
yes.
You can also use the moon.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yes. I would encourage people using the moon is great, not required. I would avoid using the sun because some crystals, the sun will
Okay.
bleach them out. They will may lose their color. However, sometimes I put crystals in salt to help cleanse them. I put them in
Yep.
to help cleanse them. So there's lots of different ways of cleansing them. And if how do I say this? Sometimes I clean them separately, and sometimes I cleanse them together as a group if they're all going to be together.
Yes.
So it just depends. I follow my intuition on that.
Yeah. And if you're using the water to rinse them, there's some crystals that you don't want to put in water, like
Ooh,
selenite, halite. Those ones will actually dissolve in
yes,
water
we
because
don't want
they are
that.
gypsum and salt based. So
Yes,
we don't want to do all of those in water. So,
yes.
okay.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to set my intention. So we're setting this intention for an abundance and prosperity grid, which is why we've got this up here. Okay. You might want to spend a little bit more of that, but we're not going to spend that much time on it today because, in the interest of being online, you don't need to sit here and watch me putting
Yeah.
intentions into crystals. So, for this one, what I like to do is actually, because it's paper and I can actually, do what I want with it, I like to use the oil. Now, the reason I'm using oil is because what I'm going to do with this, it's a roll on,
Mm-hmm.
it's abundance oil. So I'm actually going to trace the shapes on my
Oh,
grid.
okay. Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm doing circles, I'm doing from the bottom around.
Okay.
And then the other thing to keep in mind is going up and to the right as much as you can when you're doing it. So then I go to my square and I'm going up and to the right and up. And then down here, I'm going to go up to the right and up. Here, up to the right and up. And you see I'm putting
Mm-hmm.
oil on the actual lines. So I think you can probably see a little bit if I can actually color in the lines. I was never very good at coloring. I was very much too creative. So, so you can kind of see where I've gone there. So I've put it on the grid in that shape. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The actual shapes are important as well,
Mhm.
because this one grounds it in. Your
Mhm.
circle grounds it in. These ones help you to run the energy, so that's why it's in that spot. As above, so below, with the
Mhm.
6-pointed star, and then grounding in the whole thing and really helping to bring it in. So
Yes.
that's the whole reason behind all of that piece.
And
Okay.
she's using a special oil on the paper. You could use that oil on the cloth. I would not necessarily use oil on crystals.
Um,
I wouldn't, but if you would,
Sparingly, I would actually. Crystals kind of like it. They do
okay.
kind of like it, but
Mhm.
sparingly, right? You can do it almost like an offering, because
Ah,
here's the big news, guys. Crystals are conscious beings.
yes.
They are first dimensional conscious beings. And
Hmm.
so, with that, we want to make sure that we're treating them with respect and stuff as well, right?
Absolutely.
And they do kind of wake up when we put just a touch of essential oil on a crystal.
Hmm.
Okay. But again, being cautious about which ones you're doing that with. Most of the ones here would be fine with that. But like your selenite and all that, you don't want to. It's same use the same rules as the water,
Yep.
basically.
That's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got our crystal good. We've got the intention. We've traced the outline. That just makes it pump up a
Hmm.
little bit more. Then we're going to take our focus stone and we're going to place that right in the center. Okay.
Hmm.
Then we're going to take our waystones, which I think I'm going to use citrine for this. And I'm going to place these on the intersections. The
Hmm.
intersections is where I like to place them. And for this particular one, we've got 6 little intersections. Just like that.
Hmm.
Okay. Then I'm going to take the other ones and I'm going to place them on the outer side, the outer points. Okay. So
Hmm.
this is a basic one. I've moved my crystal here. There we go. Okay. So this is a basic one. So if you feel into that, you'll feel some energy. But there's one step that we have to do that's very important.
Yes.
I'm going to take a crystal point. You could use a wand, you could use
Mhm.
all sorts of things. The point is to, sorry, bad pun. What we want to create, yes,
Woo.
this is activating. Okay.
Mhm.
We're going to create energetic lines that
Yes.
connect all of this together. Okay.
Mhm.
So, what I'm going to be doing is holding this upright until I feel the energy coming down into it.
Mhm.
Shouldn't take more than a few seconds, right? And
Mhm.
then I'm going to use it like a laser pointer and I'm going to connect all the crystals. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm holding it up now. There's the energy. So I'm going to start at the middle. I'm going to connect to the middle and each stone. Those of you that can see energy, you may start to see these lines show up.
Mhm.
Always making sure I go back to the first one in that row or in that
Yes.
circle. Okay. And I'm working my way out. Okay. Now I'm going to put this facing in with the intention that it's going to continue to add energy
Mhm.
to this grid.
Mhm.
Okay. Then you can either add energy just by bringing it in. You can, if you're a Reiki person, you can do your shokare, right? You want to bring energy in so that it starts to build a little bubble. And I'll tell you, I can feel it out here already. Like it's already moved out here.
Mhm.
So if you guys look into this and feel into this, how many of you can feel it? Because it's like, it's a bubble now, about like this.
Mm-hmm.
that's created here.
Yes. Yes.
And then you let it sit. The other thing I kind of recommend is that you could build it on a tray,
Yes.
because then you can move it around if necessary.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think it's,
Awesome.
yeah, one of the things that I have done when I activate a grid, I like how you are touching the center one and going out to all of the stones
Hmm.
in succession. I will also, my practice is to link the stones in each, if I have more circles, because you have two circles there,
Yep.
I will link the stones together in that, in a circle,
Hmm.
bring it back to the center stone, and then I will um, link them together. Yes. So, mhm. So this is one of those things about, for me, it's connecting all of the possibilities of how that energy can flow, so it
Yep.
can radiate, and it's solid,
Yep.
and it's solid.
Definitely.
So, I think it's one of those things that if this is something that you enjoy doing, great. You can activate a crystal grid. You can set it up with as in the way that works for you. Because something that I consider of not necessarily how, but also I consider when I activate a grid, which phase of the moon, what day of the week, what hour I do it. There's magic hours.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can overcomplicate this if you'd like. If you're anything like me and you do overcomplicate things, be careful that the overcomplication does not prevent you from actually putting the grid in. So, so
Yep.
yeah,
Great day today with Jupiter energy of
yeah,
expansion.
it's a new
New
day,
moon.
moon today.
New moon
Yes,
is all about bringing in that new stuff. So we're bringing in new prosperity with this one,
yes,
right?
yes. Yep. Manifest and manifest, manifest.
Yeah.
So, um, so the I like how a lot of people can sense the energy that is being built up. If you're like me and you've done them under the cloak of darkness and people at work don't know that you've got them, some people may sense they may be very attracted to places that are near the grid. I've had
Yes.
that happen. That's why I have hidden some of them,
Hmm.
and that's okay. Tiny hands and pets are very fascinated with crystals and crystal grids. So keep that in mind for placement.
So
So,
the other thing I found is that if you have um, a cake tray that is glass,
oh, yeah.
you could put the lid over it. Not plastic. Plastic doesn't conduct the energy.
Hmm.
But if you have cats or something and you can't put it away somewhere, putting one of those glass cake covers over it will work.
I love that.
It slightly dampens the energy, just means you have to build it more. So you're just adding more energy to it, right? On a regular basis, go and build that energy a little bit more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, if here's a sense of etiquette. When you go into someone's space, whether it be their home or a reading space, and you see some crystals laid out that are obviously not for purchase, they're just laid out, do not touch those without asking permission.
Yes.
So,
Because once I touch this crystal grid, it's moved and I
mhm,
might have disconnected. So I
yes,
need to go back in and redo all the connections to
absolutely.
the center.
And oh, glass vibrates, add water. Water is an amplifier. Could put that
That's true.
simply. This is one of those things. You do you, people. Follow your intuition, follow your gut, do a little bit of research. You could actually put in a glass, a crystal goblet
Hmm.
with some moon water or your favorite beverage or something like that to uh, to to help support the intention, and it can really up the game a bit. So,
Oh, yes, Pamela, that would make a good one. The mesh plate covers,
very
because
nice.
they're metal usually. So that would also conduct the energy. Hmm.
Okay. Question: according to feng shui, any sharp points pointing to house or yourself is a negative sharp arrow. Is that the same for crystals that have points?
I wouldn't say that, no. Certainly not for this,
Hmm.
because we're using it more like a wand, um, in terms of directing energy. So it is like an arrow, a sharp arrow, but I would not say it's negative in this case because
Yes.
we've programmed it to be positive. We've programmed because crystals are just like water. You know, the Masuri study, which we're
Hmm.
going to actually touch more on next time, but
Hmm.
the Masuri study says that water is super programmable, right? You just have to
Absolutely.
put energy into it and intention and words, and it creates a different cellular structure. Crystals are the same. We can program them for certain purposes. So I would say to that I would think that if you have programmed the crystal
Yes.
as an energy amplifier, then it's not going to have the same negative effect
Hmm.
as a sharp point in
Yes.
feng shui.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do want to get to a couple of other questions. Shenanigans said, you mentioned cleansing the crystals first. Do you set
Mhm.
an intention for each crystal before placement in the grid? And are there better methods of cleansing than others?
Okay. So we kind of talked about the cleansing piece,
Yes, yes.
in terms of what we do for that.
Hmm.
So we talked about, using, you can actually use, if you're an energy healer, you can use your energy, right? We can use
Hmm.
crystal or symbols for that. We can
Yes,
use water as long as it's not a water dissolver.
soluble. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So we don't want to do like selenite because it's gypsum based. We don't want to do like halite because it's salt based. Um, you can do them in salt. We can do them in rice,
Hmm.
brown rice,
Hmm.
soil, put
Hmm.
them in your plants.
Yep.
Like all of those kinds of things will cleanse your
Hmm.
crystals. And then you can also charge them in the full moon, like we were talking about. The thing with the sun, I do actually encourage, you could, if you need to clear something quickly, put it out for like an hour or two. It's not gonna take the color away in an hour or two, but you don't want to do it super often because any of the quartz-based crystals like citrine and amethyst, rose quartz, those ones are the ones that are really susceptible to that
Hmm.
bleaching effect.
I'm also a person who crystals are pretty dang good at cleansing themselves.
Mhm.
I have to get out of the way of that and go, okay, thank you. If you need to reset, go for it.
This is also a great way to cleanse your crystals.
Uh,
Selenite.
yes, selenite is wonderful.
So these are awesome. This is a selenite bowl. So I
Hmm.
can just put all of my crystals, if I'm going to make this abundance grid, just put all my crystals in here the day before and let them sit in there and they'll clear and charge.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Um, the first question: do you set an intention for each crystal before placement in the grid? Sometimes I do.
Hmm.
Sometimes I don't.
I don't tend to myself. I usually do it all at once because I'm having them create a unified energy. So if I'm
Yes.
doing something else, I might do that. But for the specific grid, the I might do like all of one type of crystal like all of the way crystals,
Hmm.
and then all of the other outsider crystals, the
Yes.
desire crystals. But that's it just depends.
Yes. Julianne said, do you power them by sun or otherwise before placement? We touched on that, but I start it because I think it's an important question.
Hmm.
I do like how if you do it by sun, do it a short burst of time, not frequently.
Yeah,
Not
because it will do
Yep.
the other. Mhm. Sun tends to cleanse,
Hmm.
and then the moon tends to charge them up.
Yes. Hershey charges by both moon and sun,
Hmm.
depending on the crystals or tool I'm using. I also do it based upon the intention that I'm going to be using for.
Yep, definitely.
So, and let's see.
Yeah, Kaylee says, watch out for the eclipse energy. It can be weird. It can indeed.
Well, that's interesting because the eclipse energy, everybody is like, well, don't do anything with the eclipse, don't do anything with the eclipse, and I'm like, then, okay, whatever you say. Course I did some stuff with the eclipse energy, but I did eclipse appropriate things
Yes.
during the eclipse.
You don't tend to want to do something that is very, very detailed and specific
Yes.
during an eclipse, that you want a very specific outcome because it's kind of chaotic energy.
Yeah. And because, Michelle Marie Astrological Tarot has talked a lot about the eclipses coming up and how the energy impacts a lot of other energies. It's
Mm-hmm.
important to be aware of the ripple effect.
Definitely.
So, how about a new moon? I mean,
Yeah.
I love me some new moon energy, especially when I'm setting new intentions and things that I want to build.
Yeah. And
So,
this prosperity grid is definitely like a really great new moon one to do.
yes.
So
Okay. Joe Megan B asked, do you choose crystals that resonate with you or crystals that resonate with each other?
yes,
I was just going to say, yes.
both. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times there is a reason that a crystal resonates for me. There may be a reason that a crystal resonates for you. Notice that because there's a message there. There's an opportunity for you to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great thing to keep in mind. Um, Now, Jonathan also added, I tend to use crystals that vibrate with the vibration you're creating your grid to bring them in. I also try to keep in mind that not all crystals are compatible, so those don't go into the grid together. If that is your understanding of the crystals, absolutely pay attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being a chef. You
Yeah.
know not to mix certain herbs together because it makes a third and very undesirable flavor.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Use your intuition on that.
Hmm. Yeah. So and so yeah. Um, you do. Sue, I would always encourage you as you're looking for reputable sources. Look at the websites. I say look at the about you section, and if you're not sure, ask. I am always a fan of shopping locally. If you can go to a metaphysical store, someplace that has crystals, talk to the staff there because they're going to help you. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure that when you talk to the staff that you ask them some pertinent questions, because I've actually been into stores that carried crystals. They weren't necessarily metaphysical shops, but
correct.
they really didn't have a clue. I actually, one of them, I was like, so that's not amethyst, it's fluorite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They're like, well, I
yes.
don't know. I just work here. I'm like, okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Please pass this on.
Yes, intention is so important, as is communication. Talk with your crystals and learn how they want to work with you. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. And if you ask them the question, make sure you listen.
Hmm.
So,
I like to do a meditation with crystals,
mhm,
putting it in your right hand for receiving, right? Putting your left hand on top, of course, putting it resting in your lap, and then taking a deep breath, 3 deep breaths, and pulling the energy from the crystal up into your heart space. Ask the crystal what it wants to share with you, and then taking 3 deep breaths and sending the crystal back, the energy back into the crystal
yeah,
with thanks and gratitude. It's a great way to really build a relationship with your crystals as you go through.
absolutely. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. So, if other people have, oh, Mark Bajerski is a great source. I don't know Mark,
I don't
so,
either.
um, but again, there are a lot of great people out there, people who have YouTube channels who talk about crystals, who know crystals inside and out. Enjoy them, have some fun. Be careful of getting too much information and overwhelming yourself. That's what happens
Yeah.
with me. So,
Keep it simple at first. You know,
yeah,
there's a lot of information, a lot.
yes.
Um, what work they, yes, exactly. Yeah, me too, Jonathan. He asks what crystals, what the
Uh,
work is that they want to engage in for sure. It's
absolutely.
like having a relationship with somebody, right? How do you want to collaborate?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have I have clear quartz owl, which I take with me everywhere, and I have next to me when I sleep. It's like my security blanket.
Mm,
Yes. Do you need
nice.
brand new crystals to do a crystal grid? No,
Mm-mm.
necessarily. Do you
Nope.
need ones that you've had forever? Not necessarily.
Can it be a
Crystals,
mix?
yes. And so, the a key thing is to remember to make sure. I mean, make a crystal grid. Start small. Don't get overwhelmed. And so, I think that's a big thing. There was one. Okay, there was one more question that. Oh, wait a minute. By the way, it's Hypnicity's birthday today. Happy
Ooh,
birthday!
happy birthday.
Yes. So we've activated a crystal grid.
Hmm.
Now what?
Okay. So you're going to let it work. So we have the point going towards it. The more energy that you add to it, the more it will continue to grow.
Hmm.
So that would be, having the intention of
Hmm.
going and adding energy, holding your hands above it and adding that energy, doing your symbols if you've got them. Um, all of those kinds of things will help to
Yeah.
keep it going.
Hmm.
You may need to reset it once in a while,
Hmm.
right? Like at least once a month. I mean, probably dusting, and then resetting whenever you would normally do your regular cleaning
Hmm.
because, they do get dusty and that
Yes.
will interfere.
Hmm.
So, you know, and it's just a matter of you've already got the intention putting into it. You can add more intention of the same.
Yes. Yes.
You can bring in more energy and bring it down, right? So I can just grab energy and just bring it down in a ball of energy and place it into the grid
Hmm.
with intention. And yeah, cleaning them off and then putting them back together again.
Yeah. I also think something to keep in mind is now what is just observe what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention. Notice. Don't be staring at the crystal grid, going, "Well, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" Don't. That's not going to help. That's not going to help. It may be fun for you, but it's probably annoying for the crystals.
Probably, yeah.
The other thing is as you said, maintenance is an important thing. Overall well-being. It's like we have to maintain ourselves. Do the same thing for your crystal grid. That being said, sometimes you can set a crystal grid with the intention of you're going to be here for a full lunar cycle.
Mhm.
And then when that's done, when you're finished with that, you can unwind that energy. You can thank the crystals for the work that they've done, and then set them aside. Do you have anything that you do when you are finished, when a crystal grid has been that's finished for your set intention?
Well, I definitely like have gratitude for the crystals, right? Show
Yes.
them some gratitude, clear them so that they're nice and fresh again. Um, you know, be nice to them. They're your friends.
Yes.
So make sure you're giving gratitude to the crystals
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Gratitude, thank the crystals. And by the way, I have set up crystals. I've gone to places in my work where there was an expected stressful time. I set up specific crystal grids to allow calmness and a sense of working together and community
Hmm.
as it radiates out. And it was like when we had specific events that were going on that were high profile and we were going to have a lot of people. That's the intention of the grids that I set. And surprise, people were like going, wow, this worked really well, everybody worked well together. And I'm like going,
Hmm.
yes,
Just saying.
yes they did.
Yeah.
So, but again, if you have little humans, four-legged friends, curious people, this amount of energy may capture their attention.
Hmm.
Be aware of that. And you don't necessarily have to go, well, now this is my crystal grid, and I set it up to do this, and I set it up to do this, and I set it up to do this. You don't have to do that. And I would actually encourage you not to. Um, but the other
Yeah.
thing the other thing that's great is if you are in a household, you can all set up a crystal grid together,
Mm.
all share in that.
For love and clarity,
Love and clarity, safety, birthday wishes,
joy,
joy.
orange calcite for joy.
Mhm. I bring that up because it doesn't necessarily have to be just you doing it. It can be an
Hmm.
activity that tiny humans can join you with. Do people need to believe that it's actually going to work? No, yes, maybe. But if they want to participate, you can say, hey, I'm making this. Would you like to pick a crystal to join in?
Hmm.
Everybody feels a little bit, you know, participating with that.
Well, and I think they could probably place the crystals.
Oh,
If you're
yeah.
putting if you're putting intention into it, you're putting the intention in, you're showing them where to put them on the grid, you can have them place
Yes.
them, and then you do the connection and the adding the energy to it.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, to keep silent. That's right, Jonathan. So Vanessa talks to Crystal Owl, give it a kiss. Kids and husband
Nice.
would give it to me if I went to bed without it. I love it. And Red Dragon likes raw. I don't dormy dormy right. It emanates energy. I don't know
Oh,
that
the
crystal.
meteorite, yeah. It
Bermuda.
emanates, it's great for past life regression,
Mm,
intuition. It definitely emanates energy. There's also a question here from Sue Toffee, a little ways up, where it says, hi, Tanys. I accidentally left my Lemurian seed crystal in between a circle of metal spoons and forks and
mhm.
spoons. When I noticed, I saw the metal cutlery was vibrating. Am I hallucinating? Cutlery was shivering. That is how much energy crystals have. And the Murian quartz are incredibly strong
Mhm.
crystals. So, nope, they probably were vibrating. Absolutely.
What a great experience. That's
Very cool.
so
Mm-hmm.
exciting.
Yeah, you're not hallucinating. I
Well,
mean,
not
they
because of this.
no. Well, I don't know what other hallucinations you're having, but this particular one, no, it's not a
Mhm.
hallucination.
Yes.
I mean, we use crystals in our watches to make them work, right? So
Yes. Oh,
they're
yeah.
used in all sorts of things, and that is because they actually do have power and
Mhm.
create. So, absolutely.
Yeah. I when I was working regularly, I had a standard set of like 5 stones that were always in my pocket. So I could make a crystal grid at the drop of drop of a hat if I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Crystals also gather energy that they collect the energy that you give to them.
Yeah,
So as you are experiencing and you're working with the crystal grid, understand, you can do it again. I love that idea of resetting a grid.
yeah,
It can be very, very beneficial.
definitely.
Very beneficial.
I see Red Dragons talking about a serpentine. I don't think you'd want to carry this one in your pocket, but it's a lovely serpentine.
Ooh, look at that. I love
Very
that.
good for heart healing.
Hmm. Mo, that's why there is playback. So and but you can watch them. I do have the live chat replay on, so in about 12 to 24 hours you should be able to see it. Yes, Tanis. And when we went to a museum and they uh, displayed
Display.
crystals, they're also used in mobile phones. Yes.
Yeah, they're used in all sorts of technology right now.
Yep. Oh,
Yep.
yes. Yeah. And Kaylee uses an amethyst sphere as a protection, but also a fidget toy.
Yep. They also have palm stones or
Yes.
they have thumb stones too that you
Mhm.
can fidget with. So those are
Yes.
great, especially if you've got, like, if someone's very anxious, one of those thumb stones out of lapidolite or
Oh, mhm.
amethyst.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Uh, Tekanite.
Yes, very nice.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. John,
Tektite.
Tektite. Okay. And Jonathan resets grids once a month.
Yeah,
So, yep. Well, and okay, so on your channel, you regularly do a crystal of the week.
I do. I do. So every week I ask the guys which one to use, and that is the crystal to help support the energy
Hmm.
as well for the week. So those would be ones that I call them my bra stones because I keep them in my bra, pocket stone, right? Those
Hmm.
would be the ones that I would recommend that we put in our pockets or carry on us for the week
Yes.
in that way.
Yes. So, and hi, Iron Fire Horse. Good to see you. Um,
Sue, I have a crystal store actually, so that's why I have such a variety. She's
yes.
talking about every time I show a crystal, she's drooling.
Yes.
But I have a crystal store, so I do a fair bit of crystal shopping with that.
Yeah. So, are there what other takeaways can you give people related to crystal grids?
There's one thing that we haven't talked about, which is
What's that?
something I would love to just also suggest how you can use a crystal grid as a crystal bath.
Say more about that.
So what I do, this pyramid behind me, there's
Hmm.
actually a mattress underneath in the in the copper grid, and I have crystals placed around the mattress
Hmm.
as a crystal grid with the
Okay.
intention of clearing and charging whoever lies on the bed.
Nice.
And then the chakra stones that I put on them become the wave stone. And the focus stone
Oh.
is at the top. You can
Hmm.
see just in the middle, right about there.
Yes.
And so it is a large crystal grid that is created within the copper pyramid.
Hmm.
And so crystal bath like that is it's been pretty powerful. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's divine.
Yeah.
I could see if I can find the pictures. I'm not sure where they are, Kaylee. If you have one, I want to send it quickly. I don't know if you've
I
got one now.
have a question from Pamela Batchelor. Is a Lumerian quartz the same as a seed quartz?
I would say, if not the same, very similar in energy, because seed quartz refers to the seeded races, which could be Lemurian, could be Atlantean, um, and they would be related to Lyran and Pleiadian energies. So
Mhm.
um, I would say there's a seed quartz could be an Atlantean quartz or a Lemurian quartz. That's just my opinion. I'm not. I haven't actually read that anywhere. I'm just kind of tapping into my intuition on that. Um,
Crystal grids can be very useful in a variety of ways. Jonathan will do them on a person. You put them
yes.
in a bed. You can put them around. Set clear intention,
Hmm.
which is extremely important. And if something doesn't feel right, trust your gut.
Yeah.
Reset the grid. It's
I
okay.
actually I actually use crystal grids on people as well.
Mhm,
For instance, if they're having difficulty, with a heart chakra, I might have 5 crystals
mhm,
placed on their chest if they're healing. As an example, I actually have a class that I teach about that Reiki with crystals class
mhm.
that goes into more information on that stuff.
There's also, again, I want to remind people there are a lot of great websites about crystals, a lot of great YouTube channels about crystals. Go explore. If something bothers you about it, find out why. Get curious.
Yeah,
This is not something that I invented. I don't know who invented crystal grids. Are they powerful? Absolutely. Will they work for you? Absolutely. Should you do one? Absolutely. But no pressure.
why not?
Why not? That's a great way to do it. And,
Yeah,
some people were talking about, oh, they pick up a lot of rocks when they're moving, when they're walking around. You can add those rocks to your grids. They don't have to be crystals per se.
that's right.
They just need to be those have feelings for you.
Iron Fire
Yep.
Horse.
I don't have enough crystals to do a grid.
Do you have 4 crystals? If you have 4 crystals, you have enough to do a grid.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, card grids, yes.
Hmm.
I actually, the other thing that I add to my um, when I'm doing the crystal baths, I don't know if you guys have seen this deck, but it's awesome.
I have not.
Hmm. It's a fun deck. They've got the cards actually have light language on them as well.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll just pick one here. This one's pink tourmaline. Awesome. Gift of love. So if you see here, it's got light language in the center. It has the energy of pink tourmaline.
Hmm.
And so what I will often do is put these on them when they're in the crystal grid as well,
Oh,
when they're
nice.
in the crystal bath. So I'll
Yeah.
say, give me one for their lower chakras, one for their middle chakras, one for the upper, and then place these in
Mhm.
the appropriate spots. So
And what's the name of that deck again? Liquid crystal.
liquid crystal oracle.
Okay.
Yeah. I know somebody that actually knows Justin. I mean, apparently he's amazing. So
Here you go. I do have to put this up. We've inspired Red Dragon.
excellent.
Purchase responsibly. Know your limits. We're here to share as well. I am a firm believer that oftentimes crystals will identify which that they want to come home with you. Pay attention to that. You pay attention to that.
Garden Chicken is saying the card is wiggling on her screen.
Yeah,
That's the energy. Either
yeah,
that, well, it might be me. I did have coffee this morning, but I
yeah.
think it was, I think it's the energy you're seeing.
And Hypnicity loves her rock identifier app. So,
Yep, very cool.
right. Please subscribe to both of our channels. Please share this video with people. that you think might enjoy it. Ring the bell to be notified when we go live. What do you have coming up the rest of the week, Tannis?
What do I have coming up the rest of the week? I know that I am on vacation next week.
Good for
And
you.
so that is a good thing. Let me just double check my calendar here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, coming up on the 1st, we have, or not the 1st, sorry, we have on Monday, the 30th, we have Twillo Talk
Uh-huh.
coming up, 5 p.m. And we are going to be doing the readings for the month of July, and they'll be posted on the 1st. So take a look at that as well. Jen and I do 22 card reading on our membership page. You get the first 6 on YouTube. So check the first 6 and then come and join the membership page to
Mm-hmm.
fill in the rest. Yeah, and then because I'm on vacation, I don't have a lot more this week.
Well, this is good. Everybody needs to definitely have a break. Iron Fire Horse said, "Is there a link for Tannis?" Yes, I just posted it in chat. It's also
Mm-hmm.
in the description, as are other resources that are there. So,
And the
uh,
website is twillolifestyle.ca.
yes, and I'm just going to post. There's the thing with the crystals too. So, Pamela said, I heard an anthropologist talking about her specifically being
Her
her,
specialty.
yes, being cave art, and he found there are some 32 to 36 symbols that repeat all
Repeat all
over.
over the world.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep.
So, yeah, those symbols would be interesting grids. I
They
think.
would. Yeah, that would be fascinating.
Yes, yes. So, thank you, Iron Fire Horse.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tanis. This has been extremely
You.
insightful. I appreciate you being able to do that. And we covered probably about 18 hours worth of material in 90 minutes. That was pretty good.
Definitely. Yep.
So, do
Awesome.
subscribe to both of our channels. Links are below. You'll get notified of when we're doing lives and things like that.
I also have Twillo Lifestyle Academy, and I do crystal classes as well
Yes,
on there.
yes.
And so stay tuned for some of that. I also have those as part of our programs. There's a crystal component to everything. I've got that crystal master thing. So I've took the master training. So I've got them involved in most of my programs as well. The Celtic Shamanic and the Galactic Shaman program for sure. So
Mhm. That's
check
perfect.
those out too.
Right. And this has been wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. There's a lot of places you can go and hang out on YouTube, and we appreciate you spending some time with us. Take care. Bye bye.
Absolutely.